Okay, guys, it's 10 o'clock. So, welcome to Mathematics Grade 8 lesson on Thursday, the 21st of May. Thank you so much for joining us today. We'll be doing cubes and squares for today. So, guys, before we can start our lesson for today, can you please visit kahoot.com and then enter the pin below here so that you can participate and have fun. Yes. Let's enter the pin, kahoot.com, pin 05706907. I think we'll do it because we have 11 questions. So I think 5 minutes or 8 minutes will be enough for us to complete the game. So guys, please join. I see we don't have any participants at the moment. Please join the game so that we can play and have fun and get our marks immediately. Get your results, getting your feedback immediately, which is good, right? Who doesn't love immediate feedback? Guys, please enter the pin and play the game. I will show the scores just now. I just want to, for those who just joining us, guys, if you are just joining us, please visit kahoot.com and enter the pin and participate in our game. The questions, it's all about common fractions and what we did for the past 3 days, because this is the 4th day. The past 3 days, we've been doing common fraction, multiplying and adding. That's all about the game. Okay, let's see who is in. Okay, we have 4 players. Thank you so much, Zama, Tristan, Han, and Robert. All of them are not done. They are still busy completing the game. Guys, if you haven't joined, you can still join now. Here's the pin right here. Join. And have fun, participate. This is part of your assessment, kind of, so that you can also see yourself. You can see yourself how far you've come. And I think the questions are not that difficult. They are just okay, and they repeat themselves in a different way, though, like equivalent fractions. They don't look the same, but they are the same. Okay, Robert, 82%. Guys, please join. We only have 4 players. Can we please increase our players? We only have 4 players at the moment. 2 minutes left before we can end the game, and we only have 4 players. At least 5 players, guys. Please join. Here's the pin right here, 05. Okay, 5 players. We have 5 players at the moment. Robert is our number 1. Thank you so much. And we have high percentage. Han and Kristen. Okay, Mastermind is still finishing up. Guys, please participate. Please participate. Just type kahoot.it, kahoot.it, and then enter 075 069 07 so that you can join us, because now we only have 6 players. Welcome, Samik. We have 6 players at the moment. Guys, join. It's not difficult. We have Robert going on 82%. That's distinction. Thank you so much, Robert, and everyone else. Han, Kristen, Zama, Mastermind, and Samik. Okay, guys, 2 minutes remaining before we can end this. Kahoot.it, enter 075 069 07, please. Okay, 8 players. Thank you so much, guys. Welcome. 1 minute remaining. How many? Okay, 4 people are still finishing up. Guys, visit kahoot.it and enter 075 069 07. Here's the pin right here, kahoot.it, and enter the pin below. Game pin. It's game and it's an assessment at the same time, having fun and also learning. It can't get any better. Okay, we have 10 players. Thank you so much, Mastermind and Robert. We're still finishing up 5 people. Let's wait for these 5 people to finish up so we can see their results, and then we can go back to our lesson for the day. Kahoot.it 0756907. Guys, just tell your friends to come join us. Please tell your friends to join us, and your cousins and your friends and everyone to come join us and play our game. Okay, a minute remaining. We are actually doing this for 10 minutes, guys. 1 minute remaining before we can go to our lesson. Thank you so much for your participation. 5 people are still finishing up. We have Mastermind, Robert, Han, Kristen, Fifi, Samik, Sama, Irene, Tibza, and NQT. Okay, we are done now, but I will go to the scores. So for those who were not able to participate, let's go to the questions. Okay, let me read up the questions for you guys. For those who were not able to participate, I have the questions here with me. While this others are still completing, I will read up the questions for you guys. The first question was improper fraction. You had to choose an improper fraction. And the first option was the numerator is greater than the denominator. And the second option was the denominator is greater than the numerator. And it means the first one is correct. Right, so let's move on to the next question. The next question, they say, common fraction consists of decimal numbers. And the answer, we had correct, we had true or false. So you had to choose between true and false. And the correct answer was false. All right, so let's move to the third question. The third question says, we need our lowest common multiples when we, number one, multiplying fractions. Second option, subtracting and adding fractions. The other one is divide fractions. So the correct answer is subtract and add fractions. We need our lowest common multiples, and when we are doing our when we multiplying our fractions, that's when we need our highest common factor. Right. So let's move on to the fourth question. The fourth question says, okay, this one is very informal, but most of you got it very right. The question says, which fractions do we need to swap when you do what? Division of fractions and multiplication of fractions. The answer is division of fractions, because you remember, we need to, when you are dividing your fractions, you need to swap. And most of you guys got this one correct. So thank you so much for listening. And the fourth question, we had a mixed fraction. So here on the mixed fraction, we had 4 and 1/8. So it means that when you have a mixed fraction and you want to convert it to an improper fraction, what do? And the first answer is correct. You have to say 8 multiply by 4. And then plus 1. Your answer will be 33. And the answer will be 33 over 8. So here, there was no correct answer. Okay. Let's move on to the next one. The next question is important to simplify fractions? And we had true or false. So the correct answer is true, and all of them got it correct. Okay. So the seventh question. Okay, so the seventh question, they say, we need our highest common factor when, point number 1, multiplying fractions. Correct. That's all we need. And the eighth question, okay, time is ticking now. We must go back to our lesson. The eighth question was saying, select proper fraction. So when is your proper fraction? Your proper fraction, number 1, the red one. Correct. You can see that, right? And then number 9, they say select your improper fraction. Number 9, we had to select our improper fraction. And number 1, the answer for number 9 is the blue one, Okay, let's move on to number 10. Number 10, they say select mixed fractions. And when we did select our mixed fractions, we had what? Number blue. Correct. And the last question. Okay, so the last question, I say, when dividing fractions, when you divide fractions, you swap to multiplication, and the correct answer was true. Okay, so let's see our players right here. Okay, thank you so much, guys. How many players we have? 10 players, and all of them are done. So thank you so much, guys. Let's go back to our lesson. So let's do yesterday's corrections. So yesterday's home activity, we had a home activity yesterday, and I hope you guys did it. So for number one, we had a fraction like this. Number one, A, we had 1 over 2 divide by 4. And when we have 1 over 2, 1 of second divide by 4. We have, we'll just say 1 over 2 divide by 4 of 1th. So this is how you do it. And when we multiply, you remember, we swap, and then we simplify, and then we multiply. You still remember that, right? So let's swap our fractions then. We'll have 1 over 2 multiplied by 1 over 1 over 4. Okay, so here, and then after swapping our fractions, then we need to simplify. Can we simplify these fractions? No, we can't simplify them, because you can see that 1 is to 1, and then the other opposite is 1 is to 4. Okay, so now let's multiply. And when we do multiply, we'll have 1 multiply by 1, and then we'll have 2 multiply by 2, because when we multiply, you multiply your numerator with your numerator, and you multiply your denominator with your denominator. Right, so our answer will be 1 of 8. That's your answer. And guys, when you are done with your answer, you must see if your answer can also be simplified. And when you do want to simplify your answer, you must get your highest common factor. But in this case, for number one, our highest common factor is 1, and 1 won't change anything in this case, guys. You can see that, right? So 1 won't change anything. So we just leave it like that. We are correct. It can't be simplified more than here. Our answer is 1 of 8. So just mark your work there in your book. The answer for number A, 1 of 8. So let's move on to number B. Let's get our clean slate. So number B, we had 3 over 5 divided by 6, which is 3 over 5 divided by 6 of 1. Right. After this, you know the second step, what we do, we need to swap. So let's do the swapping, and then we'll have our multiplication sign. Multiply by 1 over 6. And then again, we need to check if this can be simplified, right? So can we simplify these fractions? The answer is yes, because you see the opposite numbers right here. We have 6 and we have 3, and another opposite numbers we have 1 and 5. So in this case, we need to simplify 3 and 6. So when we do simplify 3 and 6, what is the highest common factor for 3 and 6? And that particular number, that highest common factor, must be below 3, because 3 is our lowest number. So our highest common factor in this case will be 3. So we'll have 3 divided by 3, and it will give us 1. And then we'll have 6 divided by 3, and it will give us 2. So in this case, we will have 1 over 5 multiplied by 1 over 2. Right, so now let's multiply our fractions. So when we do multiply our fractions, let's write it here neatly. So multiply by 1 over 2. Let's underline. All right, so here we'll say 1 multiplied by 1, which is 1, over 5 multiplied by 2, which is 10. And there you have your correct answer. Okay, guys, so tell me now, do we have our highest common factor for 1 and 10? The answer is no, because 1, you know, 1 won't change anything, right? So now we are done with number B. So let's move on to number C. So number C, let's go. All right. So let's do number C. Number C, our fraction was, we had 2 as our whole number. And then we have 1 of 6 divided by 4. So now let's write it, guys. Let's write it here. So guys, because after doing this test, I figured out some of the things about you guys. So guys, can you please tell me what will be our numerator for this fraction right here? When we have our improper fraction, what will be our numerator for this mixed fraction? When we convert it to our improper fraction, what will be the answer for our numerator? For this fraction, we have 1 over 6, and then we have 2 as our whole number. What will be our numerator for this fraction right here? Let me write this one just next to what will be our answer. Let me check your answers first because I've shared my screen. Let's check your answers. Okay. Okay. Let's have another answer. Okay. Good. Okay, and you know, guys, that we always keep our denominator. We don't change our denominator, right? After converting our mixed fractions to improper fractions. So here we'll just do the 6 multiply by 2 plus 1. So 6 multiplied by 2 equals to what? 6 multiplied by 2 equals to 12. 12 plus 1 equals to 13. 13 equals to 13. Right. So we'll have our 13 of, we keep our denominators, right? Okay, so the second step is swapping. So let's swap then. We'll have 13 of 6. Okay, not division, but multiplication. Let's scratch this. You can see the rubber. There's no rubber here. Multiply by 1 over 4. Right. Okay, let's do it like this. Okay, so here, guys, can we simplify those fractions? Not really. We cannot. There's no highest common factor for 13 and 4. Or there is a highest common factor for 13 and 4. There's no highest common factor for 13 and 4. So all we need to do is just say 13 multiplied by 1, and we'll have our 13. And then we'll also say 13, not 13, 6 multiply by 4, and it will give us 20. It will give us 24. So our answer will be 13 of 24th. Okay, can we, because this is a proper fraction, we can't convert it to our mixed fraction because a mixed fraction consists of a whole number and a improper fraction. So this is already our proper fraction. So you are correct. I know most of you guys got this one correct. So correct, well done. Okay, let's move on to number D. Guys, sorry about that. We had a little bit of dilemma. Guys, please don't leave the group. Don't leave here. We are not done with our lesson. Right. Sorry about that, guys. We had a bit of dilemma. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Please don't leave, guys. No. Go. So, guys, we were still doing our number D. So on our number D, guys, we had this fraction right here. Please come back. Please come back. Thank you so much, guys. Please be patient. Patient is very important in life. Be patient. Please be patient. We are back. We are back right now. So let's get into it again. Please, guys, just come back. Right. Okay. So we were still doing number D, right? So number D, we had 15 of 8. We had this fraction right here, and then this was our second step, and this was our third step. So our third step, obviously, we are swapping our fractions, and then we have our multiplication sign, right? So now let's simplify our fractions. So we must check our numbers before we can simplify, right? So now let's do check our numbers before we can simplify. So we have 15 and 3. So 15 and 3 can be simplified, right? So our highest common factor for 15 and 3 equals to what? Equals to 3. So we'll have 3 divide by 3, and then we'll have 15 divide by 3, right? And then 15 divided by 3 equals to 5 over 8. So this is our new fractions. And then we also have 1 over 1 because 3 divided by 3 equals to 1. Right. Thank you so much. So now let's multiply. Let's multiply. Now we'll have to multiply 5 multiplied by 1, which will give us 5. And then again, we'll say 8 multiplied by 1, which will give us 8. All right. So thank you so much for your patience again. So now let's move on to number E. That's the 5th question. Guys, get your mind here. Okay, please. Thank you so much. Number E, we had fraction 2 of 9th divide by 3 of 4th. Okay, so in this case, we don't have a full number. We don't have a whole number. We don't have a whole number in this case. We have fractions, both fractions. So here, the second step we need to do, we need to swap them because we don't have any whole numbers in this case, right? Okay, so let's do it. 1 of 9th multiply, let's swap 4 over 3rd. And again, guys, let's look at the fractions to see if we can simplify our numbers. So we can there's no highest common factor for 9 and 4, and again there's no highest common factor for 2 and 3. So we will multiply it the traditional way. So how do we multiply it? We'll say 2 multiplied by 4, which will give us 8 of, and then we'll say 9 multiplied by 3, which will give us 27, right? So here we have our proper fractions, but then again, we can still see if there is a, what's this, highest common factor for both of these numbers. And in this case, there's no highest common factor for 8 and 27, right? So since there's no highest common factor and this is our proper fraction, then it means we can move on to the next question. So let's move on to number E. And I know most of you guys got this one right. Correct. So let's move on to the next question, which is number F. So after doing number F, we'll jump to number I, because number I is a bit complicated, and number G and H, it's the same like the ones we are doing right now. So let's move on to number F. So number F, we had 5 of 6 divided by 7 of 12. So let's begin to swap, because right now we have fractions. Both of them are fractions. There's no whole number, and we don't need to convert anything in this case, unlike the mixed fractions, right? So we'll have 5 of 8 multiply by 12 of 7th. So guys, here we can see that we need to simplify our fractions first before we can multiply, because our fractions can be simplified, right? So since our fractions can be simplified, let's do it together. Let's do it together. So we have 5 and 7th. We can simplify those, but again, we have 12 and 6, and we can simplify 12 and 6. What is the highest common factor for 12 and 6? The highest common factor for 12 and 6 is 6, correct? So here we'll have 6. Okay, let's do this. 6 divided by 6. And here we'll have 12 divided by 6, which will give us 2. And then we'll have 5 over 1. And then we'll multiply by 2 over 7. Why? Because 12 divided by 6 equals to 2. So in this case, we'll do it the traditional way by multiplying. Okay, so we'll say 5 multiplied by 2 equals to 10 over 7. And then we need to simplify this one, because since it's our improper fraction, we can convert it to our mixed fraction. And our mixed fraction consists of a whole number and our proper fraction. So how many times does 7 goes into 1? It goes 1 time. And what will be the remaining number after that? When you say 10 minus 7, what will be the remaining number? The remaining number will most definitely be 3 over 7. And that is our correct answer. Okay, guys. So let's move on to the last question before we can go back to our slides. Guys, today's lesson is just all over the place, but just get your mind right here. Nay, just get your mind right here. I have a surprise after the lesson. Yes. So we have 4. This is the last question. Divide by 2. Okay, so let's simplify this one right here. So we'll have 4 multiplied by 8 plus 1. So when we do that, let's say 4 multiplied by 8. 4 multiplied by 8 equals to 32. 32 plus 1 equals to 33. 33, and then we keep our denominator, which is 8, right? So after that, let's convert the next one. So when we convert this one, we'll say 2 multiplied by 11 plus 2. So we'll have 2 multiplied by 11 is 22 plus 2, and our answer will be 24. Is our 24 over, and we keep our denominators, you know that, right? So okay, let's move on. So the next step from this one, we need to swap. So when we do swap, we have our 11 here, and we'll have our 24 this side. Okay, so here guys, do we have a highest common factor for 33 and 24, and for 11 and 8? Do we have our highest common factor? There by the comment, just comment if we do have our highest common factor for these numbers. So the answer is we do not have highest common factor for both of these numbers. So let's multiply it then. We'll multiply our numerator by our numerator, and we'll also multiply our denominator plus multiply by our denominator. So we'll have 33 multiply by 11, which is 363. And then we'll also say 8 multiply by 24, which will give us 192. So guys, I said before you can leave your final answer, you must check if you can simplify it if there is still a number for our highest common factor. So in this case, do we have a highest common factor for 363 and 192? Do we have our a highest common factor for both of these numbers? Leave a comment, guys. Can you please tell me if we do have factor for 363 and for 192? You can just comment, please. Let's see the comments. Okay, so you guys are so smart. Okay, who's this person? Jean, yes, Jean is correct. You are correct, Jean. So we have 3. Yes, we have 3, most definitely. We have 3, and we'll divide our numbers by, we'll divide our numerator and our denominator for with 3. Jean was correct. Guys, there are 2 ways to make it again. You can either simplify it there at the beginning or at the end. Jean, you are correct. So let's simplify this 3 then. We'll say 3 divide by 363 divide by 3. It will give us 121, 121 of, and then 192 divide by 3, it will be 64. Yes. So guys, tell me then, do we have our highest common factor for 121 and 64? Do we have it? Do we have our highest common factor for 121 and 64? The answer is no. Okay, let's have a clean slate so that, because since this is our improper fraction, we can convert it to our mixed fraction. And our mixed fraction consists of a whole number and a proper fraction, right? So let's convert our mixed fraction here. So we have 121 of 64. So how many 64 do we get inside our 121? 121 divided by 64, how much do you get? how much do you get? 1. So we'll have our 1, and then the remaining number is 57. So after because how many 64s do we get inside 131? 121 divided by 64, it's 1 and our decimals. And that 1, here's our 1 because it goes into 121 one time. So since it goes to 121 one time, we'll have our 1 and the remaining numbers will be 57, and then we'll have our 57 over 64. We'll keep our denominator, right? So after keeping our denominator, this is our correct answers. Yes, we are correct. And another method we can use, we should have said 3, 6 because we had 33. Let's do it fast, guys. We don't have the time. The time is up. Divide by 3. Let's do it right here. And we'll have our 11th over 8 multiplied our 11, 8. And our answer would have been the very same 121 of 64. All right, thank you guys so much for joining me. Let's do the slide just for 5 minutes, and then we can end the lesson. So let's go to our slides, even though we don't have enough time. So guys, for today's lesson, we were supposed to do squares and square root. Guys, can we please look at this table just for the next 2 minutes? So the first row there, do you see that you have your square? So your square, the square of 1 and the square of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 until 15. And on the second one, you have your square root, and the number goes up until 30. Right. So basically, guys, when you have your 2 squared, your 2 squared is 2 to the power of 2. You can see that, right? We can start with 2. Your 2 squared is 2 to the power of 2. So when you do it on your calculator there, 2 to the power of 2 gives you 4, right? So 2 to the power of 2 is 2. So basically, they said 2 multiplied by 2. So 2 to the power of 2, it's basically 2 multiplied by 2, right? So let's move on to this activity right here. So we had squares and cubes. Guys, I will upload this slide so that you can look at them. So here's the first examples of squared and cubes. So first, number A, we have open bracket 2 of third, and we have close bracket to the power of 2 or squared, right? So this basically means I said that 2 to the power of 2 basically is 2 multiplied by 2 when you break it down, right? So when you break this one down, which is our example 4A, when you break number A down, it's basically is 2 of 2. The first one, we have 2 equations inside our brackets, right? You see this part of 2, the square, it means we have two fractions inside our bracket. Here's the first one, and here's the second one. They are the same. And since now we have our denominators are the same, it means that we'll just multiply our numerators and then we don't change our denominators. Okay, guys, we'll finish this up in the next lesson, but you can just complete number exercise 13.5. You can just complete until number 8. And then tomorrow will clarify everything. Thank you so much for joining me today. The surprise I had for you guys was I want us to do another Zoom meeting, maybe later, to tomorrow, or yeah, tomorrow, and I want us to do another Zoom meeting, or maybe later today, guys. You can suggest and just drop your email addresses so that I can see your email addresses, and then we'll have our Zoom meeting together. Just send me your email addresses, guys. Here, just send me a message on my email address. Thank you, Jean. I want us to have another Zoom meeting because I feel like this time is not enough. Just send me an email address, guys. Thank you so much, Jean. Here's my email address. Just send it there, and then we'll organize another Zoom meeting so that we can have everything done. Yes, at least for an hour. That's my email address, guys. You can just send your work there, and then I will send it back with a pin. Thank you so much. Thank you so for joining us today again. I'll see you again tomorrow, and I will see your emails. Just email me, guys. Thank you so much.